Good morning, IXL kids. We are still missing you. We're going into the third month of our punishment. Mama, can I go outside? No, some of y'all probably already been going outside. And if you've been practicing social distancing and staying safe, you know, this really haven't been all that bad, right? Maybe some of y'all have been, wish y'all could have finished school because your substitute home teacher was mean. Mom, dad, uncle, whoever it was. But other than that, you know, you can learn something new. You can go outside, play hoops. You can play basketball by yourself. Make sure you're by yourself. Make sure you're following the rules until we get the okay that it's okay for us to do everything we was doing. This month, all of our lessons are on focus. Wait a minute, I got my reading glasses because I need to see some of this that I wrote down to read to y'all. Oh, they broke. Where everybody go? Who turned the lights out? But I did write something for y'all, and I hope that you believe that I did it. And basically, that's what our lesson is about this month. The memory verse is, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance of what we do not see. Hebrews 11:1. Now, what does all of that mean? It's sort of like your mom tell you if you get good grades in school or if you clean your room and stuff, that you'll get a gift or you get a surprise or something at the end of it. Now, you don't see that gift, but you work diligently to get your grades up, or you work diligently to clean the house before she come home. And then when she come home, you're expecting that gift. That gift is what you're hoping for, but you don't see it. But it's a little bit different because the main thing that we're thinking about is coming from Jesus. We don't see Jesus or the gift, but we know that if we walk upright and if we have faith in him, he's gonna bless us with the things that his Bible says he's gonna bless us with. This week's bottom line is you can know Jesus even though you've never seen him. All right, we're gonna watch the video. The video is based in Hebrews 11, and this is the faith chapter, and it's gonna tell you how you can build up your faith even though you can't see Jesus. I'll be back afterwards.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how he created us and loves us so much that he made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Hebrews, chapters 11 and 12.
Gotta have a little faith, 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 faith. Keep the faith. Take a leap of faith. You know, a lot of people toss around the word faith lately. We say you can break the faith or just take it all on blind faith. But true faith isn't blind at all. It's much more than just an inspirational word. True faith has to do with believing in all the things you can't see because you start with what you can see. Now, we can't see God with our physical eyes, but we can see the stories of people who came before us. They lived in a broken world like we do, but they chose to follow God. They chose to trust his promise that one day he would send a rescuer that would make everything right again. The writer of Hebrews in the New Testament tells us about some of these men and women in God's story. People like Noah, people like Abraham. When God called Abraham, he was already getting old. He and his wife Sarah didn't have kids.
Leave your country and your people. Leave your father's family. Go to the land I will show you. All nations on earth will be blessed because of you.
God was planning on sending his rescuer as one of Abraham's great, etc. grandchildren. But still, even though Abraham had God's promise, he still couldn't see the one God was sending. Still, Abraham went on a wild adventure, following God's call, and even his descendants Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph all chose faith in God. Moses, too, was called by God from the fiery heart of a burning bush. Even though he was raised by Pharaoh's daughter, he chose to stand with his own people and face Pharaoh's anger to win freedom. We read about it like this in the book of Hebrews.
Moses suffered shame because of Christ. He thought it of great value.
See, when you check out Hebrews, you discover this huge list of people who followed God by faith, so many that the writer just stops trying to list all of them. Oh, but we can't forget Israel's most important king, David.
Get up and anoint him. This is the one.
Even though God had promised David would be king, though, David spent years on the run from King Saul, fearing for his life. Still, he chose to trust God.
The Lord is my shepherd. He gives me everything I need.
Now, none of these people in the Old Testament could see with their eyes how God was going to save his people, but they could see how he was working in their lives, how their needs were being met. So they chose to believe in his greater plan. They chose faith.
Faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we do not see. That is what the people of long ago were praised for.
Now, here's where the story turns. In Hebrews, we discover that none of those people in the Old Testament received what God had promised here on earth.
That's because God had planned something better for us, so they would only be made perfect together with us.
God's plan includes all of us from the very beginning of creation. So at just the right moment, at the perfect point in time, God sent his rescuer, the hero, his very own son, Jesus. Jesus showed us how to live. He showed us what God was like, and he told us the most important thing.
If you love one another, everyone will know you are my disciples.
Love God, love others. It's the heart of the whole story. But then, Jesus was killed, and his friends thought the story was finished. Period. Dot. The end. Until God raised him back to life. Jesus has defeated death, and those who follow him can live with him forever. But how do you follow someone you can't see? Well, that brings us back to faith.
Let us keep looking to Jesus. He is the one who started this journey of faith, and he is the one who completes this journey of faith. He paid no attention to the shame of the cross. He suffered there because of the joy he was looking forward to. So think about him. Then you won't lose hope.
The early believers, Peter and John and other followers of Jesus, had seen him teach and heal. They saw him after God raised him to life. But after Jesus returned to heaven, the believers continued to live by faith.
We have to speak about the things we've seen and heard.
Because of what the new Christians in the early church had seen, they could believe in what they could not yet see, the end of the story, where God makes everything right. They kept the faith, and because they did, we can choose faith too.
All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Did it help you build your faith? The faith that you can't see Jesus, but you believe that he's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. It was in Hebrews 11, and once again, that's one of my favorite chapters. It talks about how people did things by faith. It talks about Samson, it talks about David, it talks about Samuel and Gideon and a lot of other people. But in my heart, I believe that that book never ends. I believe that it's still being written in heaven, and the people in the book, at the end of the book, is you and me. So whatever you're doing by faith, I believe that God is recognizing it and he's writing it down. What we need to do this week, what I want you to do for your homework assignment, is to believe God for something. Now, I don't know what you're asking God for during this time that we're all sheltering, but I believe that God is still hearing you and he knows that you're there. So, but one thing I'm believing for is that we can all get back together. All right, until next week, signing out. We love you and God bless you. Happy Sunday.